ย้อนหลังนะครับผมชื่อเบลครับจะสตรีมทุกวันจันทร์ถึงวันพฤหัสนะครับซึ่งวันจันทร์ก็จะเป็น Genshin Impact ครับส่วนวันพฤหัสก็จะเป็นวันฮัน World Ice Ball นะครับก็เป็นวันอังคารแล้วก็มาอยู่กันกับแท็กนะครับก็จะทำกิจกรรมแฮงเอาท์ของข่าวเวนะครับข่าวเวฉากที่1ลูกตุ้มแห่งความสุขและเราก็ไปกันเลยครับปลดล็อกไว้แหละเอากันครับให้เราไปที่เมืองสุเมรุนะครับ
I've taken a look at your proposal. It's much better than the ones you showed me before, but...
Oh, come on, not again. Isn't this the 6th proposal I've shown you? What's your issue
เขาเป็น
this
สถาป
time?
นิกนะครับ
It's a bit hard to put into words, but...
I have to say, that's a terribly vague and unconvincing...
For starters, don't you think this roof is just... This door, too. I don't think it needs to be nearly this large. If you could reduce it...
The roof and the door are the most fun... Even if the soul of the building won't be lost, all traces of architectural style would be gone. Anyone with the slightest inkling of
Oh, I understand the principles of what you are saying, of course, but the truth remains that... Oh, actually, I just got an idea. Can we get rid of all the extraneous sections?
What?
Don't architects often say that symmetry makes everything more balanced and pleasing to the eye? This way...
I really don't know how you managed to come up with such a ridiculous idea. Anyway, that's it. I will not be working on this commission anymore.
Hey, young man!
อารมณ์เสียไปเข้าร้านเหล้าเลยนะครับโดนแก้งาน
Taking this commission was truly the worst decision ever. Oh, hey, I wasn't expecting to run it. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the tavern? Don't listen to anyone who says that drinking is an elegant pastime. It's no good for your... So you saw all that, did you? Anyway, thanks for looking out for me. Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss? Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
Want something?
Wine and a glass of juice coming right up.
I know you're already keeping a secret from me, but if you could add this one to the list as well. That guy, though. What was he even going on about? Another glass, please, boss. I'm not...
You've got it, sir.
It really is every other day that you'd run into a client who knows nothing about construction requirements or architectural style. If this was in the past, but perhaps getting used to this just means that I've grown numb to it. I've worked on so many projects since I would spend a lot of time altering my designs. And by the time the clients were finally satisfied, all my passion... I suppose, though, that just sticking to your guns and completely disregarding other people's feedback would all of this makes for a real paradox. One that particularly crops up in my work, too. In the end...
Here's your drink. How are you already spouting?
Boss, what do you...
The meaning of art? Really, my friend, Anyway, I don't know about art, but I do know that I'm interested in business.
What do you think? Yes, art shouldn't be self-indulgent. Let's say that I built a house for someone. If they don't like how it looks, then the problem is that it can be very difficult to get validated by others. I could compromise. Sounds great
บรร
to
ยากาศ
me.
ก่อนละกัน
I don't even want to
เป็น
think
รูท
about
แยก
this
นะครับ
project anymore. But what should we do? It's probably... Huh? Where did that... I mean,
ตามไปจน
it's not like
ต้น
it's
นะครับ
some kind of secret. You probably... My mother is also an architect. I've always adored her drawings. And when I was young, I used to sit next to her and... Perhaps... In fact, I have also seen... Unfortunately, I've barely had any contact with her since she remarried and moved abroad. Even if I wanted to ask her about... I did remember something else, though. When my mother left, she only carried some... At the time, she even told me that it would be great if I could learn a few lessons from her. I hadn't quite come to grips with my emotions, and didn't really have it in me to go through any sentimental item. It's been a really long time. Now that so many years have passed, maybe I have finally developed the maturity I... Huh? Sorry, I've had too much to drink. Either way, thanks for reminding me that I can invite you to come along. Thinking too hard about the words is giving me a headache, so I'll just give it to you straight. If you want to stick around and see how this will turn out, you'll be sure to encounter some... All right, then let's head back together. I mean, you already know where I live. Who knew that the day would come? Let me see. I should have tidied up the place before I left the house this morning. I'll hate... Anyway, there's no more time for drinks.
จะให้ออกบ้านข่าวต้องมาที่วาร์ปนี้นะ
I'll
ข้างใน
hate
จะ
it as
กว้าง
an
กว่า
inn,
ข้าง
so
ออก
feel
นะครับ
free to sit wherever. I'll bring out the box. Oh, nothing.
ใจ
I just
ว่าง
didn't
เปล่า
realize how much time had passed. The box is pretty dusty, which means it's already been a while since I've moved into the... I'm happy for her. I hope she'll be able to find happiness there.
ย้ายไปเมืองฟอนเท
She
น
raised
นะค
me
รับ
all by herself after my father passed away. Anyway, enough about that. Let's see what I packed into this box. What are all these things? Oh, I remember now. This is... Obviously, I wouldn't call it anything special now, but I was less than 5 years old when I made this drawing. That's more than... Now that I've said that out loud, I suppose I do have some level. Criticism and self-doubt have always been a part of the artistic process. Without criticism, I admit that I may have spent a little too long questioning myself. Anyway, never mind. My building blocks! It's been years since I've last seen these. Oh, and this blueprint. I made it by copying my mother's. I was super proud of myself when I finished it, and put it in the same pile. Unfortunately, my mother didn't realize that I had put it there. When she had a meeting with a client the next day, she handed... It was only a few days later that he finally gathered up the courage to pay my mother a visit. He asked... My mother took me with her to personally apologize to the She didn't scold me about it in private, though. Instead, she went over all... Let's see. Is there anything else left in this box? Huh. What was this? This is my mother's notebook. She used to write and sketch in it all the time. When I was a child, I used to be super fascinated by this notebook, and always pestered my mother to let... Wonder why she didn't take this notebook with... If only I could. I never... Hey, it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of inspiration. That's what... Who knows? Maybe this time something will click in my head, and the answer will just present itself. I could tell what you were thinking. I've tried my name, my father's name, my mother's name, my grandparents' names on both sides, and I've even tried stuff like love you Kaveh, take care, and yours truly. I wouldn't try that route again. I have a hunch that it won't be that simple. Also, if she really... So we could find someone who was close to my
โอ้ได้หัวใจ
mother
เพิ่มมาหนึ่ง
and see if they might know anything? My mother was never really the one to be social. My father was the one. Let me think. Is there still someone at the academia who would know? Huh. You've never really heard of her? She's a famous Kasharwar scholar and leading expert in formal garden. Professor Zaha Hadid published many works during her career, so I was able to learn a lot by studying her essays. If there's anyone who still remembers my mom, it'd be her. She's older now and is no longer teaching at the academia. But if I remember correctly, she spends most... Let's go take a look. We might run into her if we're lucky.
ไปหาศาสตราจารย์ที่หนึ่งนะ โอ้นอกเมืองเหรอนึกว่าจะอยู่ข้างสถาบันนะครับปาบมาก็
What am I supposed to...
Tainari, what are you doing?
Oh, it's you. Good to finally see you again. I came into the city to buy some experiment reagents, hoping to bring... But as soon as I got here, I noticed someone banging on Cyrus's door. You've all heard of Cyrus, right? He's an ex-sate. I was thinking about going over to ask what's happening. That granny over there...
Granny?
Yeah, she's just over there. You can...
I had a quick drink or two.
Drinking in broad daylight. Really? You want to pass out by the road? And you, traveler? You didn't try to stop him? You look like a wreck, Kaveh. You know what? I'm hosting a meal at Pardistii tomorrow evening.
Huh? Oh, I had no idea.
All right. Then I'll plan on reserving 2 seats for... I'll be heading back to Gandharvaville for now. I have a feeling that argument over there is gonna...
A granny who lives nearby.
ได้นะครับพอนี้ครับตาหา
Ha! So, plan on keeping yourself locked in there, huh? Fuck, my tomato was growing so well. It had all the potential.
I already told you I had nothing to do with it. You'd have to be awfully green as an... You see, the word green here could refer to both the color of the tomato and the...
Enough nonsense. Just...
You're out of your mind. If I've actually done...
Oh, why you?
Professor Zaha Hadid?
And who are you? How long has it been? Come on, get... it's no big deal, really. A few of us old scholars got bored in our retirement and decided... Which brings us to our current predicament.
Hey, don't try to defame me in front of the kids. If we're airing out each other's dirty laundry now, then why don't we talk...
Lucky for you, seeing these youngsters come to pay... Come on, let's go. We'll take our...
Yes.
ไปนะครับ
Is Faranak still doing well?
Yes, as far as I know. She left for Fontaine some time ago and started a new life for herself.
Ah, yes. I did...
No, not at all. She's already sacrificed a lot raised...
That's good to hear. Your mother did struggle quite a bit. Sometimes I wonder if things were harder for her because she was so beautiful. She was still quite young when she first joined my class as a student. Beautiful and radiant with her gold. She had to make a lot of drastic changes in her life
ไป
to
ฟอน
raise
เท
you
น
on
นี่อาจจะ
her
ได้
own.
โอกาสเจอนะ
Even during her time in the academia, she was a thorough perfectionist. If she was unsatisfied with something, she had many admirers, and they'd always fill up the first few rows of seats, hoping they could get closer to her sitting in the first row. But every time I saw her, she was always in that same rigid pose. She'd have one hand.
I'm sure she had many difficult moments in her life.
I'm not too sure. She never talked about such things with me. She rarely. I do remember one time, though, when she got into a heated argument with a friend. She said something.
เริ่มมืดแล้วนะครับ
True art cannot be understood, but if you ask me, that's probably the greatest source of pain for
So that's how it is. I wonder if the password could be...
What are you trying to do?
My mother left her notebook to me, but it has a password, and I haven't figured out what it is yet.
It's the least I can do. Talking to your personalities are quite alike, too. You're both stubborn and both a little awkward. I've taught a lot of students over my career, and in my experience, they would know exactly what they want to express and fight for it. Some clients would choose to respect the architect's vision or just let the When Faranak first graduated, she was getting into arguments with her clients nearly every...
I see. But could he understand the designs my mother made?
No, I think they were probably beyond him, too. But Faranak had many admirers, but she ended up...
So instead of understanding, perhaps all we need is just... Huh, it worked!
Oh!
Yes!
Then you should be on your way. Being the awkward person that she is, I suppose there were many things that Faranak could never say out loud. If you're ever in a mood to chat again, just come and find me here. You're always welcome.
Thank you so much.
There's no need to be so formal.
I wonder what my mother could have written.
They all say Zaha Hadid's class is the toughest, but I think it's actually not too bad. I met someone special. At first, I didn't think much of him. We decided to name our son Kaveh. I don't think a younger me would have ever imagined forming such an intimate bond with another person. The bad news came. And even though it's been several days now, but I have to face reality.
Huh? Is this a drawing? Seems like it was done by my mother.
ใครบ้างเนี่ย
This blonde man was probably my father. But who are... From the dates in the notebook, she probably... Maybe we were thinking too much. Oh!
The one who invited us to the gathering is a talkative woman. Including us, 3 couples showed up. There was also a person who came alone. The talkative woman introduced everyone to each other. She spoke really quick. My husband seems to be friends with the man with long ears. I couldn't really join their conversation, so I've resigned myself to sitting in a corner. I don't think I'd be able to become friends with any of these people. Especially... That man is certainly very handsome. But he would constantly... We were not acquainted with each other to begin with. And I doubt we'll see each other again after this gathering. The ambiance of this maybe my son will also partake in these gatherings in the future.
Who would have thought my mother used to attend that kind of thing? It seems she was only good at talking about her own work, and found it There's more written on the back. Oh.
Kaveh. I was both overjoyed and distressed. You are very talented, and I am confident that you will become an architect of much acclaim. No one will be able to help you during your journey as an artist. But outside of your life as a creator, you can, whenever you feel down,
เป็น
seek out a friend
แล้ว
to
ก็มี
sit
ฝีมือ
and have a chat.
เก็บ
You
ขวด
can
กับ
accumulate
อัน
joy and
ปะนะครับ
fulfillment by spending time with them. The positive feelings you gain will get you through the long and difficult years. Never forget.
So that's the answer she prepared for me. Well, now that I've read her words, do you Although it'd be nice to get together with friends and chat the night away. Besides, don't most people hate the feeling of seeing their friends troubled? And don't forget, I'm also older than all of them. Huh, you're right. Well then, I guess it's best that we... You know what? I'm not going to overthink.
ต้องรอให้ถึงเช้านะครับไปครับชัวร์ๆเราก็เอาข้ามวันไปเลย
Fate is called as such, for it cannot be changed, nor can it be reversed. It cannot.
ไปครับไปที่หมู่บ้านของไม่ใช่เดินลำบากกว่าหรือเปล่าไม่ลำบากนะครับมีไซโน่อยู่ด้วยนะครับ
Hatham also got my invite, right?
That guy? He's never been a fan of social gatherings.
Are you sure? All right then.
Yeah, let's go.
ลืมดูรูทนะครับ
I mean, maybe...
Oh, sure.
You still haven't told me. What's the occasion for getting us to...
We're celebrating the end of the first phase of Kaveh's studies.
Then where's Kaveh?
She said she wanted to show everyone a bit of what she's learned, so she's still doing some last-minute prep at home. She'll be here shortly. Anyway, let's get started. The curriculum will become a lot more involved, and I'm worried that she won't be able to get through all of it. I was hoping we could brainstorm a...
I knew this wouldn't be just a simple free dinner. Is that why you also invited Al-Haytham?
Yes. I thought it would be good if we could all put our heads together about this. Anyway, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. What did you guys do when you ran into a problem?
Never happened to me.
I'd just pull another...
You two are hopeless. Does anyone have a more useful answer to the question?
Ooh, that's a good point. Confidence is the most important thing. Once you...
This could be a potential direction. I have already redesigned...
It's very simple. Instead of focusing on the amount of material you would like to teach, focus on the amount of students...
Wow, you actually showed up. I could probably count the...
It's still more than the number of times you've managed to get a proposal approved on the first...
As long as you're still there. So, what made the difference this time? Are you looking to drink your sorrows away with some friends?
That's your purpose for being here, not mine.
So you're saying the only reason you came is to...
Precisely. Kaveh will have a long road in front of her.
Hey, just to get one thing clear. Even if Kaveh manages to make her way to the academia, we cannot let her enroll in her avatat. Kasharawar is obviously the best choice for her.
What are you saying? Spontamad is the better choice. It's where I graduated from, after all.
Then what about Amorta? That's the darshan her master at.
There are only 2 other darshans left.
You? I'm trying to have a serious discussion here. Traveler, you aren't associated with any of the 6 darshans. In your opinion...
Well said.
Agreed. And my goal in inviting you here...
Phase 2 far exceeds Phase 1 in both curriculum complexity and the speed of instruction. I hope Kaveh has prepared herself for what is coming.
Hey, what are you thinking now?
Actually, I was thinking about letting her...
I'll make sure to write, don't become an architect on... You're right.
Is there another phase after Phase 2? What's the ultimate goal of all of this?
We don't need to think that far ahead.
I'm telling you, that client had no idea what he was.
Have you considered finding...
They're all the same. I haven't had a good night's sleep for months now.
It's too late now to change careers. Besides, you'll be getting up in the middle of the night to make edits to your own design.
No.
Cheer up, Kaveh.
We'll save that for the end, Sino. You can keep it...
อ๋อจบรูทแล้วรูทหนึ่งโอ้เป็นรูทกลางเลยนะตรงร้านเหล้าเราต่อจากตรงนี้ข้ามฉากมาได้เลยไปเริ่มใหม่รูทแล้วครับคำตอบของเรา
Taking this commission was truly the worst decision ever. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the tavern? Don't listen to anyone who... so you saw... Anyway,
ตอบเหมือนเดิมนะครับ
looking out for me. Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss, I'll have a...
ผลอะไรกับรูทนะครับถามเมื่อกี้
I'll put it on my tab.
Wine in a glass.
I know you're already keeping a secret from me, but that guy, though... Another glass, please.
You've got it, sir.
It really is, but perhaps getting used to this I would spend a lot of time altering my designs. And by the time that... I suppose, though, that just sticking to your gun, all of this makes for a real paradox. One that particularly...
Here's your drink.
Boss?
The meaning of... Anyway, I don't know about...
ตามถัดไปนี่จะรูทลองไม่รู้กันครับใครจะลดอันนี้ก่อนแล้วกันครับ
Exactly. So our thoughts on the meaning of art are wrapped in Sumeru, and especially Sumeru of the past. The arts are not. It's too bad that I'm not in my best form.
อันนี้อาจจะเป็นรูทแรกนะครับ
Thanks for offering, but he understands nothing about my design. And all the suggestions he made were as if he just wanted to mock me. You mean, if I manage to get... Time to get going. I know there's no time to waste. The wine can wait until...
ก็ไม่ได้เล่าต่อนะครับโอ้มาไกลเลยนะท่าเรือ
Kaveh.
I've changed my mind. I would...
My apologies as well. Now that if I choose you to create the design for my project...
Thank you for understanding. Mutual trust is, to be perfectly honest, your commission request. Even now, I still know nothing about the building's intended purpose. I am aware that overly specific requests will restrain the architect's artistic freedom. However, I've produced several draft proposals for you to choose from, and you've rejected every single one. If we don't get on the...
Yes, I've given this some thought already. I think it's just... Putting the building design aside, can we get some less expensive... The timber here as well.
Please give me a moment. So, let me get this straight. You want to reduce the cost of... Architectural design cannot be neatly split into discrete parts. Any change to one part of the design will affect the quality of the whole thing. Same with the tiles. Switch them out and the entire mural will have to be redesigned. More importantly, if we make such a change, if all you need is a building with a roof that can keep people dry in the rain, you shouldn't have commissioned me.
Actually,
I think the most important thing for me is to understand what you would actually like to get. If you could tell me more about your vision...
I want to build something unique, something quiet, and I want all who enter this building to be able to
That's a bit more information than last time. We've gone through many proposals, and this draft is already the cheapest one. Cutting costs by substituting...
Thank you for giving it so much thought. I still have a few business meetings that I must attend, so I'm afraid I'll have to leave.
I also have a similar feeling. Is that... He does seem really suspicious, though. He dresses like a rich person, but that's actually pretty common. Not all rich people are spendthrifts. The more mora some people have, the more they love interfering with people's lives. Like constantly reminding you to pay... Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not even sure this person really wants to work on this project. Who knows how long construction will take if he keeps delaying things like this?
เอามาที่มี5
Huh? Where did he go? I could have sworn he went this way. Let's keep looking. Oh, hey, look! Isn't that Badawi?
Didn't I tell you before? I'm not looking for more workers. Plus, aren't you a bit old for physical labor?
Oh, you won't have to worry about that. I grew up as an Eremite mercenary. I don't have many talents, but I still have my muscle. If you need...
You used to be an Eremite
I know there are a lot of bad apples in our ranks, but most are just trying to make a living. We're not...
I'm sorry, but I still can't take you in. I don't have any open positions right now, and don't have the
Okay.
He used to be a member of the Eremites? Huh. From the way he was dressed, I would have thought he was a merchant from the rainforest. Let's ask him about it. We meet again.
Huh? Why are you
That's what we wanted to ask you. Who are you? Why... There's no need for us to continue this project if you still want to keep hiding things from...
Believe me, I didn't... All right, there's no point hiding anything anymore. The building I'm trying to commission...
A library? Funded entirely by yourself. I've heard that the academia will be looking to prioritize the desert with the allocation of educational resources.
You're right. And I was aware of these happenings as well. The desert is too vast. Even if the academia spends a lot of effort trying to disseminate knowledge in those parts, it might still take decades, if not centuries. And what's more, I don't know if all I know is that as a desert dweller, we should not wait. I don't have much longer left on this world, so I just want to use whatever time I have to I didn't want you to know that I came from the desert. I've lived in the desert my entire life, and there wasn't anyone here that I could trust.
To the point that you even disguised your identity? That's certainly playing.
When I first came to Sumeru City, I brought a lot of Mora. Someone agreed to take on the project, and even took us up. After that, I heard that there are a lot of untrustworthy people in this business. I spent a while collecting information in the city, and eventually learned that you're the most famous architect in all of Sumeru. By the way, how did you know I was scammed?
Just a hunch. A while ago, I accepted an offer to work on I ran into someone who was living in a pretty run-down house. I noticed a load-bearing wall on the verge. He said that he had no way to pay for it, so I loaned him some of my own Mora, and told him to get some stone and timber from the local vendor. And after that, he even borrowed Mora from me twice more, using a different excuse each time. I didn't even suspect. According to him, I looked like an easy target because I was in academia.
Those kinds of things do happen every once in a while, yes. Folks like...
It's all right. You were also scammed by someone from Kashar. Ultimately, neither of our experiences had anything to do with the desert or the rainforest. Yeah, you'll find both good and bad people everywhere. I can't understand the logic of those who like to take advantage of others. Anyway, I digress. Let's return to the topic at hand. Did you keep rejecting my designs because you thought I was...
That's what I was afraid of initially, yes. I eventually understood. I've done the math, and know that we should be able to make it if we cut some corners. However, after our conversations, I decided to try and see if I can afford your proposal at...
By cobbled together, you mean you're going to spend your entire life savings on this project?
To be honest, I haven't really thought about that. I mean, all I want is to build this library before I leave this world. So that the children... A while ago, I heard that the academia had decided to recruit a number of exceptional children from the desert. I know the desert life, and can predict what the problems will be. So even if the academia would take them in, once they enter the halls, they might find themselves surrounded by...
Yes. My father passed away at an early age. Even though I had a good number of friends, I'm sure a child coming all the way from the desert will... But let's bring this back to the building itself. I think you said that you want this building to be quiet and warm. With it, building it according to the current plan will be quite costly. Even if I don't... Any idea? Sponsor the project? You mean, that does make sense. A library is a big project, and it's going... What do you think? If we can find others to sponsor the project, we could potentially increase the size of the building too, or...
It's all fine with me, but where do...
Well, you're right. If I really think about... Her? Hard pass! With her shrewd and greedy personality, she would never put Mora into something like this. Now there's an idea. She probably won't say no if I'll... Let's go and pay her a visit.
เกิน ที่นี่เพิ่งถ่ายรูปอยู่3 อัน
Could you please speak with the...
อคุณโดกิละ
Now here are some unexpected guests. What brings you to the palace of Alcazar's Ray?
อัน
When I saw Kaveh, I almost thought it must be that time of month again. Sadly for me, I must wait a few more days.
Hey, can't you think of something else for a change? You are literally living. What is the point of wealth, anyway? Is your happiness entire?
That's exactly right. Mora is extremely valuable. If you ask me, this place is still way too empty. Just give me some.
You're hopeless.
Oh, so you have an actual reason to visit me? All right, merchants. Oh, I see. So you're just looking for someone.
I knew you wouldn't be interested in something like this.
Sure, I can connect you with some.
A fee? You mean just for?
Of course! Making introductions means using my connections and putting my reputation on the line. Since we've known each other for so long, though, I'll give you a huge returning customer.
500,000? Besides, by helping us out, you'd be doing a great service to the public.
Three of my business partners came by earlier today to discuss some things with me, and they still haven't left yet.
Thank you.
You can wait here. I'll bring them over to you.
เสียงอะไร
Dory gave us a brief introduction about the two of you. You are, to be frank, I don't feel like there's an obvious business opportunity.
All right, here's the situation. I've been commissioned to build a library in...
So it's...
Correct.
Then the commission fees will likely be very low.
I'm not too concerned about how much I'll get for the commission fees, actually. I'm fine with doing it for free.
So what? You can't possibly Besides, what does a library in the desert have to do with us? If you...
Hey, there's no need to be so harsh. They are Dory's associates after all. Here, can you tell us a bit more about what we can gain from sponsoring this project?
ตั้งชื่อคนออกขึ้นเป็นคนออกทุนนะครับ
Mostly be doing it for reputation and exposure?
Well, just speaking for myself.
I also have a concern. It feels like there's not much to profit from.
Then how about this? What if, instead of building a single library...
Wouldn't that just cost...
Yes, but in that case...
I'll just give an example. If we were to build a library and a school near Aru Village, then the desert dwellers, a whole suite of buildings will be able to host more traffic, and thus drive the economic development of the entire area. I've been to the desert several times. Although there are still many lingering tensions between the two regions, the amount of
Education in the desert is indeed an industry that has not been...
And you just
Even the greenest amateurs know that urban planning will affect population flow. If you don't...
You...
อันนี้ความหมายนะใกล้เคียงรู้สักเท่าไหร่
Hey, why are you starting to sound...
Wait, something just occurred to me. If we're going to build a library in the desert, but it seems we're not the only ones with our eyes on the village. I heard a rumor of...
What?
What?
In other words, if we try to join the fray now, there won't be much. If we want to build a suite of buildings focused on education and culture, Aru Village is the prime location.
Then there's no hurry. We can wait for Aru Village to develop more first and get into the market for...
But...
Is there nothing else to discuss? Great timing! I pretty much heard all I want to hear.
I'll be off as well. If you have any new ideas, please...
It seems like the others are not interested in funding this, so no point in me doing this on my...
Hey, guys, wait!
ไปหมดเลย
Well, what can I say?
เลยแหละ
I guess
ได้รูทไหมเนี่ย
what is expected. They are Dory's friends after all. Yeah, it's just another day doing business with people. Looks like we'll have to figure out some other way to...
How did the meeting go? Want to talk about it?
discretion. Please don't tell me that you're here to mock.
What kind of person do you take me for? With the kind and generous Lord you can try to talk up the project all you want, but the facts will remain the same.
But this isn't just a business project. Also, if you already knew no one would want to partner with us,
you might want to remember who...
I'll pay back every last coin that I still owe you.
Alright, since you're so devastated about this. In fact, I'll be inviting the most famous merchant in...
What? I would... So...
Follow me. Oh...
เอาจังเลยได้เหรอ
This is the place.
You said you're going to introduce us to the most famous merchant in...
You still don't get it, huh? The most famous merchant in Sumeru.
Huh? So you meant yourself all along?
Well, I've given it some thought, and that complex... It'll be a pretty big Morasink, and I'll have to fund it all on my own.
Seriously? Where's this generosity coming from so suddenly?
The reasons are not important. What's important, however, you know just as well as me that once this project actually breaks ground, it'll start sucking more of...
I get it. I won't charge any commission fees.
Splendid! Then let's...
This way, the children of the desert will have some books to read. Of course, there are a few things better than using my knowledge to help others. I must thank
ได้
you
หัว
as
ใจ
well,
3 ดวง
Gary.
แล้วนะครับ
I used to say you only cared about Mora, which might have been... Now, let's have a quick discussion. Where would you want...
There's no rush. I'll provide you with a copy of the deed when we get...
Huh? The deed? So hold on a sec. The person who has been buying up...
Oh my, did I not tell you about that? Yep, yours truly has been buying up all the land. So, from my perspective, this has...
But what about my commission fees?
Huh? Didn't you waive those yourself? I was just gonna say that to Kakas. We mustn't procrastinate. But before I could finish my sentence, you volunteered to waive your commission fees, and even
It's obvious that you used every trick in the book to deceive me. You deliberately paused for a long time.
Huh? You really think so? Well, the contract's already been signed, so...
Fine.
เอาเวโดนหลอกอีกแล้ว
I'll
นะครับ
drop the argument on the... I'm going to order the best dishes and booze this...
I wonder if I'll ever be able to create something so incredible.
เราน่าจะต้องตรง วาร์ปไหน อาจจะไม่ตรงไป
We meet again.
Huh?
That's what we wanted to ask you. There's no need for us to get...
Believe me, I didn't All right, there's no...
A library? I've heard that the academia...
You're right. The desert is too vast. And what's more, all I
ข้อนึกออก
know
แล้ว
is
มันจะมีอีกตัว
that I don't have much longer left on this world. So I
น่า
just
จะไม่
want to
ใช่นะ
use what I didn't want you to know that I came...
To the point that you even disguised your...
When I first came to Sumer, someone agreed to take... After that, I heard that I spent a while collecting information. By the way...
Just a hunch. I ran into someone who was living in a pretty run-down house. He said that he had no way to pay for it, so I loaned him. And after that, according to him...
Those kinds of things do happen.
It's ultimately, neither of our experiences had any... Yeah, you'll... Anyway, I digress.
That's what I was afraid of initially. I've done the math, so I decided to try and
by cobble together.
To be honest, all I want is to build this library before I
ธุรกิจ
leave. A while ago,
อันนึง
I
อะไร
heard that
จำ
the
ได้นะ
academia had decided to recruit a number of. I know the desert life, so even if the academia would take.
My father passed away at an early age. I'm sure a child coming all the way from the desert. But let's bring this back to the building itself. Building it according to the current plan will be quite costly.
อ๋อน่าจะลองเปลี่ยนแบบนะครับรูทหนึ่ง
A slightly different style. Most architects would probably prioritize cutting costs and removing extra features in this situation. While it's true that the aesthetic value of a building is often viewed as an afterthought, neglecting it has some long-term negative consequences. It is especially undesirable in this situation. To completely give up on the more aesthetic design would mean stripping the children of an opportunity to appreciate the beauty of architecture. However, if we can reduce the ornate aspects of the design while maintaining its fundamental elegance, to make up for the loss of regular details, we would need to put a lot of extra effort into.
I see. Would that really be okay?
It just increases the difficulty of the design. You should feel lucky. As for inspiration, I think I might have something in mind.
Aru Village. Although it wasn't my child.
Okay, then we can pay a visit.
Is there something I can do for you? I've already caused you a lot of trouble before.
Let me think. You said you used to be an eremite. We want to keep the roads clear and reduce the loss of materials during transport to a minimum.
All right, just leave it to me.
What are you waiting for then? Let's pack up and get ready to go.
อันนี้ใช่นะครับแล้วนะครับ เรื่องของครับ
Most materials going from Caravan Rebat to Aru Village would pass through. There are a lot of monsters out here today. If you find it hard to keep up, just let us.
Oh, don't worry about me. This is nothing.
สู้
I see everything.
Come at me. Ha. Ha. Take.
เป็นอะไรเอ่ย
Sight clear.
Let the show begin. Huh.
Take. Come at me. Take. Scanning. Sight clear. Come at me. I've been. Scanning. Watch and learn.
ขาดตายแล้วน้อยแหละ
I'm fine. I've spent but it's one thing to fight against monsters and another to fight against. I don't think much of it back then, but few mercenaries get to enjoy their later years. Failing health.
Is there someone you know who can?
Unfortunately, no. Sometimes I'd close my eyes and realize most of my life story is already. I joined the Eremites when I was young and won many battles with them, if at all possible. I want future children of the My apologies. The older we get.
I think it's really admirable of him to spend his whole life savings on maybe he's doing this out of natural kindness. A kindness that hasn't been eroded away by the struggles of his life. Perhaps. Some people call me an idealist. I do have some sentiments of that general persuasion, such as wanting everyone to be able to lead a happy life. But my situation is more complex than that. When I was young, I impulsively encouraged my father to take part in. He set off confidently hoping to win something for me, but failed to clinch the title. What's more, I never saw him again. Word has it that he got caught in quicksand. Even if I started doing many things in life because I wanted to make amends. Even in cases where at this point, I've tried self-reflection, but it didn't help. I can't seem to walk away from many things that I see. Maybe it's just like what those Vahumana scholars often say. I could be doing things out of endless guilt, or I could be doing them out of a strong sense of empathy. Anyway, I suppose I don't really mind being called an idealist. They also use that term to... I've known Al-Haytham for many years now, and discussed my ideology with him. He told me a long time ago that no matter how strong of a swimmer you may be, you'll still get dragged under. I still believe I should live by my ideals, and I've given him countless reasons why I think it's a good idea to do so. Unfortunately, he remains unconvinced. His personality is the exact opposite of my own. If someone... As you can see, I'm not the only idealist in the world. Just as there are different seasons, there are also different people. And when I finally run out of stamina, someone will also reach... Someone will help. But you've helped me plenty already. If you didn't reach out to me, I would probably be passed out on the tavern. Either way, I'm feeling much better than when you first found me at the tavern. I can feel inspiration. All right, let's...
อ้าวยังอีก
Now that we're here, it's my partner's time to shine.
Oh, what's this?
My toolbox. I built it using an ancient mechanical core. It's not too smart, but it's... I'll take Marak and find a suitable location for the building.
Traveler?
Ah, you know each other?
Hello. I suppose you must be Kaveh from Kasharawar. I've heard of you before. My name is Sataria, and I'm currently the person in charge of promoting educational assistance...
Educational assistance programs.
I can't say I'm too familiar, Chip.
I've been commissioned by Mr. Badawi to build a library in the desert. We've settled on the general design direction, but we are trying to find...
A library?
That's right. I want to make...
That's fantastic! I'm sure the children will be thrilled. Right now, we don't have access to many...
Let me get straight to my questions then.
ทำเสร็จแล้ว
Can you estimate the number of children around here?
กับปรากฏถาวร
have any landslides occurred here recently? And also, where are the spots around the village? All right. Badawi, let's go over the budget again. We'll keep the building structure the same, but make the place a little bigger, so it'll be able to hold more people and get better. The parts of the project that cost the most will be the insulation and ventilation material. I want to make significant changes to the arrangement of the bookshelves, tables, and chairs. I'll go over the specifics of that shortly. I have two plans. Our final cost should be around 70%. Marak has produced a sketch for all of you to see. If everyone's okay with it, the inspiration just came to me naturally. I must give you credit, though. If it weren't for your according to the traditions of my profession, I should probably name this style after you. In the meantime, let's look forward to the day when this building is...
นะเข้าไปเราเริ่มที่ล่างก่อนแล้วกันครับกลับไปที่ นี้น่าจะต้องเลือกช่องล่างนะครับอาจจะเจอ
Taking this commission was truly the worst decision ever. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the... Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss, do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
Wine in a glass of juice?
I know you're already keeping a secret from that guy, though. Another glass, please.
You've got it, sir.
It really is every other day that you'd run into a client who knows nothing about construction. But perhaps getting used to this just means I would spend a lot of time altering my designs. And by the time the clients were... I suppose, though, that just sticking to your guns and completely disregarding all of this...
แสดงว่าตรงนี้ก็มีอีกรูทจะมีรูทกลางอีกรูทก็ได้มา3ใบละคนมี5ใบ
Here's your drink.
Boss?
The meaning of art. Anyway, I don't know about art, but I do know.
What do you think?
ไปไหนนะ
No worries. It's been bothering me for a while. Even when I'm awake.
อาจจะไม่อะไรเท่าไหร่กดนะครับ
Sounds great to me. I don't even want to think about this.
ตอนนี้น่าจะเป็น
A different career. I think I've heard a saying somewhere before. 80. It's just a saying, of course, but even I will admit that my... And if I want to make Mora, I should finish that ridiculous commit. Hold on. I just remembered that I used to have a senior classmate by the name of Alkami. If memory... Maybe I'll be able to get some advice from him. ไกลจังคนละกันครับวันของกิจวันนะครับจำวัน
Kaveh, it's you.
Yeah, it's been a long time, Alkami. Things
I heard that you were the genius behind the palace of Alcazazare.
Well, it's
hard to make a profit. You've got to be joking. I've never met... Unless the client fled before they paid the commission fee in full. But that...
Well,
I understand. Either way, doing one project after another... I mean, I obviously never had your reputation to live up to. That must have been stressful. Well, not exactly. Judging from the look on your face, you're still strapped for Mora. That's quite unfortunate. You're the most artistically gifted graduate the Kashara... With that said, us Kasharawar grads should still look out for each other.
Are you serious? But something... Besides, I don't want to just take something like that without...
Oh, you're too kind. This is just a simple tip. Even if I didn't bring it up, I'm sure, compared to the classes taught by those old fossils at the academia, my classes are more condensed and streamed. Unlike the academia,
เป็นติวเตอร์นะค
I
รับ
won't turn down anyone who's interested, rich or poor.
สอน
As long it just
สอน
so
รวบลัด
happens that
เอา
I'm
เฉพาะ
still
ที่ใช้
looking for a few more instructors. So, regardless of the pay, I can already guarantee...
So you want me to join you as an instructor? What do you think, Traveler?
เกือบกดผิดเราบวกแล้วกัน
Then it's a deal.
Yes, it's a deal.
Oh, like I said, there's no need to thank me. As for the pay...
300,000? Are you serious?
It would seem that you're still oblivious to your own economic worth. 300,000 is nothing. 300,000 is also just the base rate. Just I have to go make some preparations.
I was never particularly close with Alchemy when we were in school. I've hosted free lectures before, but this would be my first time being hired to lecture for a formal business. 300. Thanks so much. Now, what should I talk about tomorrow? Some lessons I've learned over the past. All right, let's meet here again tomorrow morning. I should hurry home and.
ไปละไปตากันต่อนะครับเอาข้ามวันไปเลยแล้วกันเอาชัวร์อ๋อนี่ตรงนี้
Oh, I didn't expect you.
I was up last night preparing for the lecture, but I ended up getting so excited that I couldn't fall asleep.
Lesson plan. But the training center has already developed its own set of teaching materials. Instead of using your own plan, sure. It's almost time for the lecture to start. Feel free to head in and...
Huh. So you've already developed your own set of teaching materials. There's something else I want to ask.
No need to stress. There are 14 classes at my training center. Out of all of them, the first class has the best grade.
20 people, huh?
Oh, and one last thing. In the interest of keeping a quiet learning space, I'm sorry to say this, but your friend will have to wait outside.
Sorry.
โอ้สวัสดีครับคุณนมที่เห็นเข้าไปเล่นเกม Warframe นี่ใช่เล่นไปสักพักหนึ่งจะกลายเป็นเกม Warframe ฟาร์มไปเรื่อย
Hey there. Can I help you? Oh, Alchemy? You mean that rich guy who's been made? I heard he earned a fortune working as a renowned architect. Now he's open to training centers. If the tuition wasn't sky high.
ใช่ครับนินจาอวกาศแอคชั่นเขาก็ยอดมากเลยนะครับว่ามันเร็วเกิน
Did you hear? Alchemy recruited Kaveh to be an instructor.
อ๋อผมไปเจอมาอีกเกมหนึ่งผมเคยเล่นนะครับเกมดันเลดนะครับเป็นคล้ายๆกับมอนทันแต่ฟรีอ๋อใช่ชื่อดาวก็ชื่อจริงทำเกมดีครับก็ค่อนข้างที่จะเป็นเกมที่มีเสียงเลยครับที่เป็นเกมฟรีเนี่ย
Really makes you jealous.
คอมเมนต์ค่อนข้างดี
Think about it. Alchemy was never that talented himself as an architect. If we're just talking about professional skill, no one would pay for a class with him.
That's true, but you've got to admit, his advertisements are really effective. For those who can't pass the exam, or who just want to jump straight into the industry, the training center is the best bang for the buck.
NTLE น่าจะเกมน่าจะประมาณนี้ใช่ครับเป็นเกมในคอมผมไปเซิร์ชดูสักพักดูหน่อยแล้วกันแล้วว่าใช่ครับชื่อนะครับเป็นเกมแนวเดียวกับมอนทันเลยครับแต่ว่ากราฟิกก็สู้ไม่ได้เกมเพลย์ก็สู้ไม่ได้นะครับ แต่ว่าถ้าอยากลองเปลี่ยนบรรยากาศดูก็โอเคครับ
Man, to have that kind.
All right, everyone. Class is over, so we can just chat for a bit. I shouldn't have.
No, you weren't scary at all, Mr. Kaveh. We were.
Oh, don't get me started. I was trying to use Alkami's material. Alkami may fool an amateur, but he can't fool anyone who's active in our profession. The materials he made are completely useless for teaching. In my opinion, the most important skill of an architect is their ability to craft a design. There are tens of thousands of buildings in the world, as well as a countless number of architectural styles. The architects who can critically evaluate the quality and fit of different designs are those who can come up with great designs.
ใช่ครับเกมมันก็
But you won't get any of that
มันก็
from the
สู้
teaching
มอนฮัน
materials
ไม่
they're
ได้เลย
using
นั่นแหละครับ
here.
แต่ว่ามันเป็นเกมฟรี แต่ว่าถ้าชอบ Warframe ก็เกม Warframe กราฟิกอะไรพวกนี้น่าจะดีกว่า แต่ว่าเกมเพลย์ผมว่ามันก็ตอนที่ลองเล่นดูเมื่อหลายปีที่แล้วมันก็สู้มอนฮันไม่ได้นะครับไม่รู้ว่ามันเป็นเพราะเป็นเกมฟรีหรือเปล่า
How can they expect to become real architects? When they're done with this class,
ครับ
all they'll become
เคยเล่นเมื่อหลายปีมาแล้วนะครับ
a pitiful smattering of
ยังมีให้เล่นอยู่ก็
architectural
โอ
knowledge.
เคครับ
But Mr. Kaveh, we didn't really understand anything you said after you threw away the materials either. What's the
ครับ
big deal anyway? It's not
ให้
like
ลอง
we're
เล่น
looking to
Genshin
make
Impact ครับ
some works of art. We just want to make some mora.
You're studying
ใช่ครับ
architecture to make
Warframe ก็สนุก
mora?
ครับ
Yeah. Why else would we be studying? My biggest dream is to become someone like Mr. Alkami. Once I finally make.
In that case, I'm afraid you'll probably be disappointed. The reality.
But how? Mr. Alkami just told us last night that you make. He also said that as long as we graduate from his class, waves
MMORPG
upon waves of people will reach out to us
ที่
with
ฟรี
private
มันก็มี
commissions,
เยอะเหมือนกันนะครับ
and we can just sit back and wait for more to
คาบาว
fill up our pockets.
เดี๋ยวนี้จะเล่นเป็นพวกแอคชั่นอะไรพวกนี้ก็น่าจะสนุก เพราะว่าแอคชั่นอะไรพวกนี้มันก็เริ่มทำดีขึ้นแล้วนะครับไอแอคชั่น RPG อะไรพวกเนี้ยเกมเพลย์มันก็จะไม่น่าเบื่อกับพวกแร็กนาร็อกอะไรพวกนี้เขาไปตีอะไรอย่างเงี้ยใช้สกิลระเบิดตุ้มตามไอพวกที่เป็นแอคชั่นอะไรพวกมันยังมีกระโดดหลบอะไรบ้างเนี่ยอย่าง Genshin Impact นะครับมันก็ยังเป็นแอคชั่น MMORPG
Believed everything he said?
อ๋อหมายถึง Warframe ใช่ไหมครับอ๋อคาบาวผมก็ไม่ได้เล่นนะครับคาบาวก็เลยไม่ค่อยรู้เหมือนกันว่าสายฟรีมันเป็นยังไงแต่ว่าก็มีเพื่อนที่เล่นอยู่เพื่อนเขาก็เติม
Alkami is really rich, isn't he?
RPG สายฟรีอยู่ได้ครับก็เล่นเฉพาะเกมที่สายฟรีอยู่ได้นะ เหมือนเนี่ย Genshin Impact ผมว่าคือถ้าเราไม่โลภมากเปิดตัวละครอะไรพวกเนี้ยมันก็เล่นได้เรื่อยๆนะครับเหมือนกับคอนเทนต์เขาก็ไม่ได้ทำมายากเกินไปสำหรับสายฟรีมันก็เล่นจบได้อะไรอย่างเงี้ย
Let's go, traveler. Let's hear about Alkami's true
เพ
plan
ราะว่า
for
สาย
the
ฟรี
man
มันพอ
himself.
อยู่ได้อะไรอย่างเงี้ยถ้าเราไม่โลภมากจนเกินไปGenshin Impact ก็เป็นเกมที่น่าเล่นอยู่
What's wrong, Kaveh? You look quite flustered. Were the students not astute enough for your liking? I must implore you to go a bit easy.
Yeah, I'm mad at them. But I'm even more upset that the students are all here hoping for a quick way to make money. But we both know that an architect's life is hard, and if your client is unhappy, you can't break ground. And the longer a project goes, the longer it takes for you to get paid. You know all of this just as well as I do. Why?
Look, Kaveh, you may be the light. You may deny it all you want. But it's a fact that in today's Sumeru, architecture is a terrible profession. Our clients care very little for the effort we pour into our designs. Instead of appreciating us, they spend all their time nitpicking details.
I suppose that's...
Why should we cling on to a profession that's difficult and unrewarding? If it's near impossible to make money as an architect, then why not just...
Wait, how does that make any sense? Aren't you just leading them into the same...
We are already stuck, my friend. The more people we can lead into this pit and stack... That's right. And making money as an architect is a slow and agonizing process.
ความหามาได้คนเติมมาต่างกันอ๋อส่วนใหญ่มันก็เป็นอย่างนี้นะครับคือเหมือนกับว่าถ้าเป็นสายฟรีก็ต้องใช้เวลาในการเล่นเกมเข้าแรกก็ต้องใช้เวลาในการเล่นเยอะกว่าสายเติมเงินอยู่แล้วครับงั้นเดี๋ยวเกมมันก็จะอยู่ไม่ได้นะครับเขาก็ให้เติมเงินก็ล่นระยะเวลาการเล่นเกม
None of the students will ever know, however. In their eyes, all of my income was earned during my years as an architect.
ว่าเขาจะเป็นคนที่แบบสอน
and the more real that dream becomes.
เติมมันที่อยากได้จริงๆนี่แหละครับอันนี้น่ากลัวครับเติมมันที่อยากได้จริงๆแล้วเราก็จะอยากได้ไปหมดเลย
And then what? Once they graduate, they'll still find out the truth about architecture and struggle to stay afloat. When that happens, your facade will pop.
But that's just one way to look at the problem. No two people have the same... Oh, and also, I never actually promised that they would achieve financial freedom as long as they... I'm not even scared if they do come back and stir up trouble. My training center has all the required permits and certifications. Even the Dendro Archon herself couldn't find
ส่วนมากไม่ค่อยเติมใช่ไหมครับก็ทนเล่นแล้วก็ถ้าเล่นไม่ไหวก็เปลี่ยนเกม ถ้ารู้สึกว่าเล่นแล้วมันเหนื่อยเบื่อก็อาจจะเปลี่ยนเกม
Tell me, is your heart carved out of brick and stone? I can't believe that I once saw you as a decent human being.
And the same goes to you. How many years has it been since you graduated from the academia? If you still can't accept something like this, do you just plan on keeping that worthless naivete of yours until the end of time?
ผมเห็นเพื่อนผมเล่นคาบาวเขาก็เหมือนกับจะต้องมีตัว USB ตัวหนึ่งครับเป็นคีย์เอาไว้เสียบตอนล็อกอินแสดงว่าการแฮ็กมันโหดมากเลยนะครับ
Only fools will see art as revered and sacred. In the end, art is just another
ไม่รู้เลยแหละครับเรื่องเทคโนโลยีป้องกันการแฮ็กอะไรพวกนี้
is an art form in itself. I urge you to think about what I've said. Offloading your pain onto others is the only way a person can live comfortably. As the light of the Ksharowa, you've accumulated plenty of fame and respect.
ถ้าเล่น Warframe แล้วติดใจนะครับแล้วอยากจะลองเปลี่ยนเกมเล่นเพราะว่าเบื่อ Warframe แล้วอะไรเงี้ยมันเกมหนึ่งที่แบบเหมือนกันเลยนะครับสไตล์เดียวกันเลยก็เป็นในเกม Destiny 2 เป็นเกมฟรีเหมือนกันครับแต่ว่าเขาจะเน้นยิงมากกว่าที่จะเน้นแบบกระโดดไปกระโดดมาเหมือน Warframe เรื่องวิธีการเล่นมันจะไม่เหมือนกันครับแต่ว่าเรื่องสไตล์เนื้อเรื่องการฟาร์มการอะไรพวกนี้เป๊ะเลยก็ไปเล่นมาอยู่พักหนึ่งเหมือนกันครับแล้วก็เบื่ออ๋ออันนี้ครับ Destiny ธรรมดาเลยครับ ตามไปเลยครับทีนี้ถูกมันเป็นเกมฟรีแต่ว่าที่เสียเงินก็คือต้องซื้อแมปซื้อเนื้อเรื่องเพิ่มซื้อแมปเพิ่มอะไรพวกนี้เสียเงิน
I'm so mad. I feel a headache coming on. There's nothing more. Of course. I'm sure you've realized that as long as I remained at this center, he would be able to use my name to advertise this place. He is right about one thing, though. These kinds of training centers are everywhere. The most that they could accuse him of is false advertising. And even that would be hard to Oh? Did you notice something else? Yeah. The rate he gave me was 300,000 mora per lecture. That probably came out of the students' tuition. If you're gambling everything on making it rich as an architect, are you really going to have the mora to pay? Right. We should hurry. The students didn't believe a word. We're never going to get any information from them again if we let Alkami talk to them first. Let's move now before he's had the chance.
เรื่องก็ยาวไปอีกยาวจัง
Oh,
เพิ่ง
Mr.
รู้ที่
Kaveh?
4 เองนะครับ
What are
เป็นรู้
you
ที่
doing
5 เลย
back here?
Class finished a while ago, but you're...
I wanted to stay for a little longer. I'm still thinking about everything you taught during the class.
Of course they were. All the examples I drew were world-famous landmarks. Each one was them. It's a good thing that you could recognize them for their beauty. The accumulation of knowledge is the first step to artistic expression.
Resonate?
Yes. When I first got into architecture, there were many things about it that I couldn't understand at all. And for most people, just being able to admire a building is enough. Going from admiration to assessment will take a lot of time and specialized knowledge. And I'm afraid that some...
Just as I thought. Becoming a...
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to crush your dreams.
I understand. Thank you for telling me the truth.
Hmm?
Sorry. I can't say anything more. Mr.
Don't listen to him. I am the most famous architect in Sumeru. If he kicks you out...
Really?
Why would I pull your leg? I can see you have some talent. So as long...
Then please keep this a secret for me, Mr. Kaveh. Mr. Alkami was the one who reached out to my parents. He told them that he knew He told all the students that once we graduate, people would come flocking to commission us for projects. If everything went well.
How much did your family...
I think it was several...
And what was the interest...
I'm not really sure. My parents...
Yeah, I have a bad feeling too. We need to find that merchant to confirm. But if we were to confront him right, good idea. Hey, tell me.
We last saw him on the north shore of Port Ormos.
Well, it'd still be worth taking a look. We need to do something before the students' lives are ruined.
ลองเข้าไปดูรูทสักหน่อยแล้วกันแต่นานไกลไปไม่ถึงก็มาจากอันนี้แล้ว
Oh. You're Fahar, right?
Yes.
Alkami. My friend here wants to enroll in his architecture class, but they're a bit short on money. Alkami told us you're the man to go to in this kind of situation.
Oh, sounds like his business is booming.
Let me see.
Oof. You call that a bit short on money? Anyway, since you're here because of Alkami, I can work things out for you. Here you go. Don't worry.
And what if they won't be able...
What do you mean, won't be able to pay it back? Once you graduate from Alkami's place, you'll be making millions of more. And even if you were to run into some difficulties and need to delay the installments, it's no big deal. It's hard work running a business. If we're taking risks to supply you with Mora, it's only fair that you
กยศ ให้ด้วยนะครับ
Anyway, there's no point in tying yourself in knots over the contract. With the way you're reading every single line, it's like you're worried you're about to get scammed at.
I just did some calculations in my head. When you say the interest will get a of course the contract did a great job of trying to obfuscate that fact. It only lists... If you actually do the math, however, it's clear that the amount you need to pay on interest alone will amount to hundreds of thousands of... Even my creditor doesn't dare to raise rates that high. Once a family...
What are you trying to say, huh?
ความหมายเดียวกันนะครับ
I figured something was off
โอ้มีคน
when
เรียน
two well-dressed
Art of
people came
Exile
looking
ด้วย
for a loan. Think you got the better of me? Too many people are sticking their noses where they don't belong these days.
Eremites? I've already fought off more than my... There are only a few of them, so they shouldn't pose much of a threat. Marak, you're up.
การติด
Everyone hold hands. Stand with me. Go for it.
Take that!
3 ตัว
Who are you and what? I don't think we've done anything to hurt.
Debt has the power to upend your whole life. But my debts are the culmination of many different factors, and my interest rate... But these students are different. They have not... You sold the dreams of becoming an architect to the students as bait, urging them to take on...
Ha! Everyone knows there's no such thing as a free lunch. And if we're going to talk about greed, aren't those students the ones who are blind?
Ha! And here comes the silver tongue. Surely you... People grow by learning from their mistakes. I hope this... Let's head back to the academia and turn this guy over to the Matra. They should be able to...
พอเข้าไปได้
Sino? Didn't think I would...
My vacation just ended not too long ago, so I'm going... I see. Charging... As it is highly likely that Alkami is also benefiting from this scheme, the Matra will open and investigate. Any funds we manage to recover from the suspects will be returned to the students. It's unclear how much we'll be able to get back.
That should still be enough. Once the students... Anyway, thank you for your help.
It's no trouble. Just another day at work. How did you two get tanked? Did you accept any Mora?
He promised to pay me 300,000 Mora per lecture, but I...
That's good.
What do you mean, that's good?
I wouldn't have gone that far. But, had he insisted... Either way, though, I believe you are innocent in all of this.
Hey, what was that? What do you mean, my life...
Never mind.
You're just messing with me now.
Let's get back to business. If Alkami's case can be successfully resolved...
Huh. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I never would have guessed.
The reward will be given regardless of your personal motivations. It was implemented...
Fine.
ได้หัวใจเพิ่ม
Is there anything else?
I want to go back to the training center.
Sure. But you should wait until tomorrow.
All right. Then I'll stay out of the...
I have a few other things to take care of, so I'll be off for now. If you want to
That should finally be the end of that. Oh, who would have thought it would turn out like this? To think Alkami would sink... Still, I think I feel a little better now than when you found me back. It's a little ironic, but you could say it's because I've realized that How should I put it? I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to my... The arguments are usually extremely frustrating. And every once in a while, Alkami's suggestion would have allowed me to quit my life as an architect and earn money solely from my reputation. But now that every scholar has their own sense of pride and a line that they don't like to cross. Of course, just speaking for myself, though, I don't think that's something I'd ever be able to do. If I stopped devoting everything to my creative activities, I'd be able to lead a more comfortable life. At that point, any materialistic ease I may have gained in life would just become another form of torment. In comparison, I appreciate it. You may call me... It's certainly not easy, but I want to keep at it. My thanks again for being such a great help throughout all of this. I'm planning to pay another... All right, I'll see you...
ต้องไปต่อนะครับ8 โมงต้นไปหมุนต่อไปครับ ต้องมารับลูกศิษย์
I never would have guessed Mr. Alkami was... The training center has been shut down, and the Matra have promised to return some of our tuition, but...
Mr. Kaveh said we can keep working on our fundamentals and try to...
Easier said than done. Only the best of the best can get into the academy.
Mr. Kaveh might be... Why? What reason did...
So...
Huh?
Now, that's Mr. Kaveh to you. I'm here as your instructor. I'll keep instructing you for a while longer. You can pass on the message. Oh, also, I'm usually pretty busy, so I'll only be able to teach architecture fundamentals on my day. Architecture is not an easy profession. Aesthetics aside, if you want to design safe buildings, you'll have to go through a systematic study, and just as a heads up, all of this will be a huge step up from the superficial stuff you were learning before. It'll take both talent and...
We'll try our best.
It seems some of you are really serious about this after all. All right, everyone, pack your stuff up. No need to prepare much for today's... You'll know once we get there. Come on, let's get going.
ไปต่ออีกนะ รอดรู้ได้พอดี อันประภาคาหรือเปล่าเนี่ย อ๋อเป็นประภาคานะครับ
And I handled its renovations when I first... The point of today is not so much about the lighthouses. I just want you to take a look at it and do a bit of self-reflection. Don't think about how you'd actually go about building it for now. Just...
So, it can be...
Yep, as long as you think it'd look good. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a building. If you want, in my experience, it's best to approach the study of architecture from... Both the study and practice of architectural design are extremely difficult. A person who's forced to work... So at least for today, I hope the students will be able to create something that they... What do you think? Want to try your hand at it as well? Don't forget that this is a free class from Mr.
สอนเด็กวาดรูป ไปครับท้ายเดี๋ยวเรามาเริ่ม ไปที่บ้านของคาเวะ
All
นล่างไว้ก่อนนะครับได้ลง
All
มา
Hatham
ล่าง
isn't in, so feel free to sit wherever. Oh, nothing. I just didn't realize how much time had passed. I'm happy for her. Anyway, enough about that. Let's see what I packed into this box. What are all these things? Oh, I remember now. Obviously, I wouldn't call it anything special now, but I was less than 5 years old when I made this drawing. Now that I've said that out loud, I suppose I do have some level of artistic criticism and self-doubt have always been a part of the artistic process. I admit that I may have spent a little too long questioning myself. Anyway, never mind. My building blocks. It's been... Oh, and this blueprint. I was super proud of myself when I finished it. Unfortunately, my mother didn't realize that I had put it there. It was only a few days later that my mother took me with her. She didn't scold me about it in private. Let's see. Is there anything else left in this box? Huh. This is my mother. When I was a child, I used to be super fascinated. Wonder why she didn't... If only I could. Hey, it's not a matter of time. Who knows? Maybe this time something will click in my head. I could tell what you were thinking. I've tried my name, my father's name, my mother's name, my grandparents' name. I've even tried stuff like Love You, Kaveh. I wouldn't try that route again.
เปลี่ยนรูทแล้วนะครับเปลี่ยนไปสดต้องมาปลดล็อกหนังสือ
Yeah, you're right. Although I was hoping to find some words of wisdom from my mother, everyone's life journey is different. Traveler, I just got an idea though. If I want to rekindle the creative passion that I had before, instead of... What do you think? I'm glad you agree. Then let's start...
เปลี่ยนรูทที่สถาบันนะครับ
Of all the places in the academia, I remember this one most. Who doesn't miss their time at the academia? Life was a lot. I created many designs that I thought were beautiful in the House of Dana. I drew whatever came to mind, since I didn't have to care about budget. If I had to give... The academia also had a rule that allowed scholars to annotate any physical books they came across. Oh, here, this is a great example. This book, History of Ancient Sumeru Architecture, contains some analysis that I did many years ago. Huh? Why is Al-Haytham's handwriting also in here? When did he ever read this book? I guess it's probably from when we worked on that research project together. Anyway, he probably never cared to tell you this, but the House of Dana is where Al-Haytham and I first met. I came here to do my homework, and saw him sitting by himself next to that row of bookshelves. A group of Haravatat scholars were chatting near him, but he looked as if he was too lazy to join them. There was a pretty stark difference between him and all the rest of them. It was my fault for feeling bad for him. I thought he must have gotten into some kind of trouble and went over to ask if he needed anything, not realizing that...
Not realizing that you were in fact the one in a whole heap of trouble?
I'll hate them? Why are you here?
พี่แต้มก็มานะครับ
The House of Dana is a public space.
But shouldn't you be at the records room at this hour?
You think I would derive amusement from watching you fall into depression over your life's various troubles? I came here to pick up a few files. If your voice hadn't managed to get through my sound...
All right. I admit I was probably overreacting just now.
น่าจะความหมายเดียวกันนะครับ
He's right here with us.
There was nothing embarrassing or shameful about it. When I was still a student at the academia, I once collaborated with Kaveh on a research project. We had a number of differences, and they remain unresolved even today. The more important question is, why are you...
As a senior scholar, isn't it my responsibility to offer my...
I see. Then let me guess. Your next stop will be the pavilions around Razan Garden? Oh, and Kaveh. A lot of the books you annotated have been moved to the innermost section of...
Huh? But why would you know that?
Sure. Leave any words of thanks you may have to the ex-Grand Conservator. The last time he was here, he was complaining that he had received reports from... As a result, books you annotated have been moved to the back shelves.
What? But all of my annotations were extremely important. Instead of reporting me, they should have been... Okay, just you wait. I'm going to fix this right now. I'll dig all the books out and return them to the proper shelves.
Oh, we'll
ทะเลาะกับเขาแล้วก็แพ้ตลอด แพ้พี่แต้มตลอดเลยนะครับ
Put through the ringer. What an interesting phrase. He probably did suffer quite a bit, that's true. He always spends, but the satisfaction of one client will not translate to general satisfaction with his work. Many problems in life can only be solved by a fundamental change of attitude. As the leading genius of Ksharawar, there are plenty of architects in Sumeru who are inferior to him in skill, yet far more irascible in temperament. What's more, there are plenty of people who look up to such individuals as paragons of staying true to one's principles. Clearly, his predicament is inevitable, since he holds other people's feelings as more important. Of course, each person is different, and we should respect the paths. Admonitions will serve no purpose. People tend to succumb to familiar pitfalls, and this is especially true for those who...
Looks like you were having an enjoyable chat while I was gone.
What do you think?
What else is there to talk about? Sure, anyway, you should take a look at this. Look at this comment on page 82. Dear Kaveh. See that? Now that's how a student should treat their seniors.
ได้หัวใจเฉย
And it looks like you're already in a much better...
Me? Happy? I'm mocking that retired blockhead for being so full of himself. He understands nothing about the true beauty...
Why don't you just move all the books yourself? It's not like he hasn't cursed you out before. What was that Nick? Kaveh had a habit of scribbling and writing in all kinds...
Hey! You didn't need to bring that up. Oh, actually, I also found a really old sketch in one of the books over there. See? Huh? Don't tell me...
Don't ask me. This is the time you specifically...
You... In that case, allow me to explain. Although this sketch is a little...
We can also plainly see that the designer was a huge fan of this project. It's the project he loves to talk about.
If I don't keep bringing up the neat projects that I've done, there shouldn't be any complaints about Port Ormos. If I remember correctly, the construction process was very smooth. Everything was made ready.
There are indeed no records of any complaints about this project. A most impressive achievement.
See? What did I tell you? Come on, let's take a stroll through Port Ormos next. I'll tell you all about the...
No need. It's almost time to clock out for the day, and I don't intend on bringing...
Suit yourself. It's not like you know how to appreciate artistry anyway.
ไปท่าเรืออีกแล้วนะครับ จำชื่อได้เลยนะครับ จำท่า
Port Ormos. No, I didn't design any one specific building. Most of my work, Port Ormos had already existed since I was still a young child. It wasn't as large as it is now, though. It only came. The arch bridge over there, for example. That was one of my designs. When I was first tasked with the project, I decided to reference the growth patterns of nearby trees to split port. We ran into a lot of issues during construction, but thankfully, residents can now behold all the ships entering and leaving the harbor from the vantage point of the bridge, while visitors can recognize. I was still young and new to the trade back then. I could hardly believe that an idea in my head, the true cornerstone of the creative process. Once built, a building will continue to stand. Countless people will see it, and You think so? I'm glad to hear that. My budget was tight, and I was unable to use the higher quality timber I had originally intended for the design. I knew us creative types know better than anyone that most projects cannot be completed without a few regrets. Even the Palace of Alcazar. Yeah, you're right. I should learn to look. We've spent long enough here. There's still one last place I want to go, but it's a little far. Great. Most of my projects over the last few years have had something to do with the desert. Partially because this is a rare opportunity, so why don't you come along? If you ever feel down, maybe you'll be able to go there and...
จบแล้วมั้งครับอันนี้ตามไปที่ไทยโอ้มาไกลเลยนะตาย
Who would have thought that so many primal constructs could have congregated here while I was gone? We won't be able to sit and talk peacefully with these guys around. Let's clear the area.
Oh.
I see everything.
Vale.
Dissipate. Let me scribe. Let's dance. Hi. Everyone hold hands.
Stand with me. Delve into destiny.
Isn't this place great? I often come here to clear my mind when I'm... You know what I mean. Everyone... Just take me as an example. My family life got shaken up quite a bit when I was young. Although Al-Haytham thinks that it's because of my personality that I continue to live in the shadow of the past. You could probably say I followed in the path of my mother. Like her. Life is too boring when you live with no enthusiasm and passion. Only those who believe... Of course, I will concede that loving something also means taking it to heart. So to an extent, caring... But still, isn't this place beautiful? Despite the erosion with different landforms come different architectural styles. The desert's history has left it with few records regarding its buildings. The sight here has moved me ever since the first time I laid my eyes on it. I told my pain will one day fade into nothing, just as I reach the end of my life. They are far more valuable than most materialistic things. If you were to ask me what art is, you think so? Remember that question I brought up before? The one about whether I should see art. I still haven't found an answer to that yet. But if art wasn't inherently those who pursue art will be unable to avoid the pain that it naturally brings. I'll try gathering my thoughts again once In any case, thank you.
อันนี้นะจบไปเรียบรับรางวัลมาเลย
I wonder when I'll be as tall as my big sister.
ครับตอนนี้เราก็ทำแพทเทิร์นพาร์ตต่อนะครับแล้วเราก็ไปเอซินยังต้องใช้อีก10 แต้มนะครับ เดี๋ยวไปก่อนละกันครับเราไปคอร์สสักตัวกันครับ40ว่าเราจะไปแค่ดันเจียนธรรมดาก็พอแล้วกันครับเพราะอันนี้มันจันทร์ไม่ได้วันอังคารพอดีหน่อยแล้วกันโตนะครับเกียนนี้ชอบเลยนะครับใช้ทีมน้ำไม่ได้ไปอันนี้
Let's light it up! Eat this! Let's light it up! By royal decree! I'm going in! Let's light it up!
เล่นใน PC มันก็จะง่ายกว่าในมือถือครับผมให้บังคับ
We go! Eat this! Nice and spicy! Let's light it up! I'm going in! Boba, get them! Oz reveal thyself!
ดูดาเมจของโอเวอร์โหลดไม่ทันนะครับก็ตั้งใจหาแค่อันเดียวนะพลาดได้เลยจำวันก็จบเรียบร้อยแล้วใครก็เป็นนะครับไปที่ร้านอาวุธง่ายทีมนะครับสีที่เราเอาโมนะ ของนะครับต่อยครับคัดเราก็เราก็จะไปทำเพชรของชาวเมืองเรารับมาฟานนะครับได้เชอร์นะครับป่าไปตัวเอาก่อนแล้วกันเองนะครับเรามาที่เพชรขอตัวนี้9 อันเองนะลองไหนๆเราก็ต้นมาแล้วได้20 อันพอดีฟันได้อะไรมาอัพฟันเฉยๆ6ละเกินแข่งไปปราบของเราลอง
into death. Go, Barbara, go! I see everything. This way. Leave our space.
ร้อยนะ มีได้ของกล่องที่ยังไม่ได้เปิดนะครับ
Everyone hold hands. Dissipate. Delve into destiny.
เต็มเลยนะครับ
Let's dance.
ร้อยตอนเยอะๆปลายนะครับ
Things are going so smoothly today.
ขออันสุดโตไคอากิฟ้าเหรออ๋อออดนะฮะ
Hey! Our bond is strong. Let me scribe.
สองตัวทำไม่ขาดพร้อมกันก็ว่าจะฮิวนะทันนะครับสองตัวพาร์ทใช้อีกอันหนึ่งก็หมดแล้วก็4 ทุ่มพอดีก็น่าจะขอบคุณครับ